MLB The Show 95 is a real game that you can play today. I'm serious. Today's MLB The Show with the best players of the 90s. Let me explain. In 1995, PlayStation launched the PlayStation, the OG PS1. I remember being so excited and amazed at the graphics of the console. I also couldn't wait to see the first baseball game come out on PlayStation. But before I get to the point, I need to relish on the amazing baseball games of the 90s. See, at the time, there was a surplus of incredible baseball games on Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, RBI Baseball, Tony La Russa Baseball, World Series Baseball, MLBPA Baseball, Sports Talk Baseball, and my personal favorite, Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball. Now, I don't want to get too nostalgic, but this to me was peak MLB. The players throughout the league were incredible superstars, and this range of games to play were really quality products for that time. But back then, it was really all about gameplay, graphics, and players. There wasn't a career mode, there wasn't a card collecting mode, there wasn't even a franchise mode. All these games were exhibition, play now, and some of them had season. But you could only play one season with very limited options. It's funny to say this now, but I remember getting so excited when World Series Baseball put in a feature that showed the ball bounce off objects after it crossed the fence. In all other games, the ball would just disappear. Like, that was the reality way back then. But it got me thinking about just how good we have it today with MLB The Show. And I started wondering what it would be like if MLB The Show existed on PlayStation in the 90s, but with today's depth and features and graphics combined with those MLB players of the 90s. Now enter Longballs and Legends Volume 2 by Ridinrosters. Ridin and his team of roster creators have re-upped for the second year in a row to improve upon their amazing historical roster, which takes the best players from the 90s and puts them onto their teams of that time. The league is filled with superstar sluggers like Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds. They're trying to break the records that stood for decades, while young sluggers like Ken Griffey Jr., Manny Ramieriz, and Chipper Jones are trying to write their own history. Pitchers like Nolan Ryan, Brett Saberhagen, and are still firing gas, with young guns like Maddox, Smoltz, Glavine are the up-and-coming stars. And then there was prospects like JD Drew, Pat Burrell, Brian Taylor, Vernon Wells, like they were the future of the league. Oh, and I have to say that all these players in this Ridin roster have incredible accuracy down to even the modeling of their face. Seriously, I can't go on to state how amazing this is, and we need to give a big round of applause to everyone who put hundreds of hours into this roster. San Diego Studios really need to consider hiring everyone involved. The passion and quality isn't something you just find with every game. This is truly very special. I mean, could you just imagine Ridin and his team of creators doing this full time? Making more historical rosters with custom players, custom draft classes, fictional rosters, and more for MLB The Show, like permanently. Oh, and not to mention like C-Webs and his Bacon's fictional roster. Like, please, SDS, if you're watching, if you're listening, please enable these amazing creators, or better yet, hire them. Now, Ryan sent me a preview copy of Longballs and Legends Volume 2, and I was going through each and every team's roster, and when I jumped into a Mariners and Giants game, I leaned back, closed my eyes, and felt like I was whisked away back to being a kid in my basement, eyes glued to my Sega, Super Nintendo, and Nintendo 64. So if you're like me, looking to play arguably the best era of the MLB in the most technologically advanced baseball game that we've probably ever had, this is the roster that you've got to download right now. It's available right now. Ridinrosters Longballs and Legends Volume 2. Now, run a fantasy draft, just run regs, play now, start a franchise with the team set as is, or play on the couch against your brother, or pull your dad down and get him to remember of the times and enjoy this amazing roster. I know I will be. Now, thanks so much to Ridin and the team. We're going to have some fun hitting some long balls with some of these legends. And until the next one, we'll see ya. Peace.